bringing you an episode which I personally didn't want to end. Talking to a person who is like a mine of knowledge feels amazing. We have talked about anime, gaming, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and startups. Oh my god, almost everything. Do stick till the end of the episode. Welcome to the 21st episode of Unboxing Stories. This is Shivam Hasurkar. It's written beautifully that if you don't program yourself, life will program you. You have to question what you are doing today. Is it part of the code you programmed for yourself? Talking with a pro coder today made me realize how to go through life a bit. May I introduce Vageshwar Yadav? He has completed his computer science engineering from KIT's college in 2021 and currently working with Infido as a software engineer. He was the topper of my batch throughout all semesters, the 10 pointer guy. But not only that, he is a really enthusiastic gamer and anime fan. He also likes cricket for fun and is extremely geeky for technology. My first impression of him was kind of a shy person, but the more better I got to know him, I realized a different angle of his personality. Let's get right into the episode.
Thank you for introduction, Shivam. It's my pleasure to be part of this podcast. I've been following it for I've followed a couple of podcasts in this section, and yeah, looking forward to all
Yeah.
these questions.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to have you on this podcast and to let everyone listen to your valuable experiences and the knowledge that you possess. I want that to be shared to each and every one of the listeners.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's begin with the basic question. Like, why engineering? Why did you choose to be in this entire this whole generation of engineers? Why also you wanted to be one more engineer in this?
Yeah, so initially, if I say in my childhood, I wanted to be a cricketer. So
Oh.
I used to be every day, from morning till evening part, used to play cricket. And then my father said one day, yeah, ISOS बनो, cricket में क्या रखा है? And I was like, ठीक है, चलो collector बनते हैं. But then my sister started learning C programming. I was in 9th standard and we got our first laptop then. And I started coding from there, in
Yeah.
C. And I was really, it was like magic for me.
Yeah.
Like this coding thing, I used to code arithmetic progressions thing. So you just provide the first term, last term, and difference, and
Yeah.
I used to get the nth term. So I was like, yeah, this is like magic. We need to explore it more. So my sister said, yeah, he's interested in this all things. Let's keep him in this field itself. So I wanted to be a computer science engineer since 9th standard. Then
Yeah.
I left cricket and collector's dream all and just pursued it.
Yeah. So getting into the race to get into the best college, that is the 11, 12 standard. How was it? What did you do differently to score such good marks in the entrance examinations?
Yeah, like my 11th, 12th was like disaster for me.
Why?
Yeah, it was like open all right. Till 10th, you were under your teacher's guidance, everything.
Yeah.
You get into an open world, everything you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
I got addicted to anime and I used to watch lots of them. So you know that longest running anime, one of the One Piece. So it has
Oh, yeah.
800 episodes at that time, and I
Oh.
watched it in like 3 months of time. And that was like post Diwali, so midterm of 11th standard. So till mid 11th, I was good student, following everything, JE prepare, JE crack. But after that, it was like no, only anime.
I want to do anime.
Yeah.
But what got into like this is the kind of fashion or trend I can say that is among the youngsters, and these anime series are like too used. Like I have heard a few, and most of them are like 300 episodes, 400
Yeah.
episodes minimum, and yeah, it's addictive. I have seen people who had no relevance with anime prior, but once they start some series and go with first 15, 20 episodes, they get completely addicted to it and then won't stop until they finish the entire thing.
Yeah.
So what is it with anime these days?
Yeah, for me it was like unable to predict what is going to happen. Let's say if we watch some Bollywood movies,
Yeah.
we know, yeah, जाएगा, heroine kidnap होगी, hero बचाएगा, और this all same shit.
Apt description of Bollywood, every Bollywood film.
Yeah, so even in Hollywood sometimes it's predictable, some stories.
Yeah,
So which
maybe.
so there is no thrill, nothing. in anime, most of the cases, it's like you are not able to predict what's going to happen. So you are always on the edge.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to know. I
Oh.
want to know. You're
Yeah.
curious all the time, and you learn a lot of things. I think most of the good habits which I can follow and teach others, I've learned it from anime itself.
Like what? Any examples as such? Like what you should look for while watching the, like, entertainment should not be only just for kind of entertainment. Yeah, there is a certain percentage where you just go to a movie, keep your brain at home, and then watch the movie, enjoy it, laugh with your friends, and then come back home. But also, entertainment being the most like major part of every person right now. So what should one look for, or what did you learn specifically from those?
Yeah, like, I can frame it in way like who are our teachers when we grow up. Like initially it's our parents, then it's teachers in schools,
Yes.
and later it's our friends and circle with whom
Of
we
course.
hang out.
Yeah.
I wasn't really good with friends and circle initially in my 11th standard itself. I didn't have much friends. Like only those who were in, like I used to sit with them, do my work and go home. That's it. It wasn't like I have to hang out with them post tuitions or post college. Nothing like that. So I think whatever those like hangout means, I have observed it in anime and understood, yeah, this is good, this is bad.
Yes.
So which you learn by with your friends. Instead, I learned by watching it somewhere else. So
Nice.
this way, and another was like the motivation to do better. I have watched lots of sports anime itself.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are like motivating yourself.
Mhm.
It's like watching Sandeep Maheshwari's motivation speech itself. So you see that the character is struggling, you get motivated yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I implemented all those things post my 11th, 12th in engineering. Before that, it was like just watching.
Watch it, binge watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but moving on, what do you think is the current trending anime right now, and which one is your best anime till date?
Yeah, like the OG one, I started watching anime because of Dragon Ball. It used to
Oh.
air when I was kid.
Yeah.
And Pokemon. Pokemon is an anime. You can call it as cartoon, but it's fine.
Yes.
And like current trending aren't that good. I say like they have moved into more like smaller audience, like who are ages between 13 to 16. For those, like for adult, there aren't much anime. But you can watch Naruto whenever you want to. You can
Yeah,
learn a
I've
lot.
heard about it.
And always I say sport animes actually motivate you. So
Yep.
whenever you have like time, you can obviously watch this.
Great. Yeah, you got into KIT.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't have much friend circle, no communication. I didn't even know how to like communicate properly in Marathi. So my Marathi was super weak because till 10th I was to talk like speak in Hindi.
Yeah.
11th, 12th no speaking. And then now I was determined that I have to make some friends. I need to like learn Marathi. So I never said like I don't know Marathi. When I was speaking some broken Marathi, I used to speak with whatever friends I made in my first year, and that went on.
Nice.
First year obviously was like for me it was like I did not study in 11th, 12th. I need to study.
Oh.
So that's why it was like till mid semester I was constantly studying, got good marks. Now everyone recognized me. Nothing was there. I met some friends, and then it went on like that.
For me, it was completely reverse. 11th, 12th standard, I studied like hell, and when I joined engineering, I was like, "Bas, that's it. I don't want to study anymore. I'll do the most minimalistic things to score a good mark." Yeah, I scored good throughout engineering. Not like you. You scored extremely high. You were the top of throughout 4 years, I guess. Yeah. Recently, I went into college to get transcript for living certificate and all, and they asked me to submit toppers list. So I checked, and each and every 4 years of our batch, you were kind of the topper for every semester. That's great. One thing. How does it feel?
Like initially it felt good in first year. After that it was like no studies. Like say before exam 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like I don't need to study because everything was prepared. Just revision pending and stuff. So people used to call me, okay, teach me this thing. So before exam, it was like 4 or 5 hours on call. I'm teaching.
Have I ever called you for anything like this? Maybe not.
No.
I should have.
Initially, it was good. First year, nothing. No one is looking at me. I can study on my own. And
Yeah.
that's everyone, like there are some expectations as well from friends. Yeah, he is
Yes.
going to do good.
Totally.
So I have to do good.
Yeah, but at a certain point, like just on a chill note, like, did you know about this? That this was the kind of discussion happening. Let's say in first semester of third year or second semester of third year, you had scored, I guess, 10-pointer in that semester, right?
Yeah.
So there was just a fun discussion. Point of discussion was. अगर वागेश्वर ने इतना स्कोर नहीं किया तो सबका रिलेटिव स्कोर अच्छा आएगा तो वी वर लाइक कि अरे वागेश्वर ने थोड़ा कम स्कोर करना चाहिए सो दैट सबका रिलेटिव स्कोर अच्छा आएगा डू यू थिंक दैट you are the one to be blamed for that?
I think the grading system needs to be blamed, not me. Like, let's say I score 90 and the next highest scorer is 70. So
Yeah.
there are 2 grades skipped, right?
Yeah,
A
of
plus
course.
and then direct B. So
Direct B. But yeah, keeping that aside, how was your entire 4 years of engineering? What all activities did you participate in? And apart from academics, what all was there?
Yeah, so like I said, I wanted to be a cricketer. So when I got here, I also wanted to be like part of the KIT's cricket team. And first year too. So I went there, but they were like big students. I was like a small kid then. So I thought, इस साल skip करते, next year try करते.
Okay.
But then I only played like tennis cricket, and then second year I said like no, I want to learn competitive coding. I want to go in Google, Microsoft, right? So they only take third year students. So I started doing this, and then I left those. But I had some startup ideas even then.
Okay.
I had a friend, so they were like, Zoom bikes, right?
I heard about it.
Yeah, so that was idea in second year itself. So I wanted to like build that in Kolhapur itself. There was no means of like transportation through subscription basis.
Yes.
Yeah, and then also carpooling. So I
Yeah.
started working on that, but I left again. Like in startup, it happens. You feel
Yes,
like I have to
yeah.
give up. And you give up.
First, it's like a dream. Like there will be millions of users for it. But as you keep on going and building it, some point you realize that and then you give up or something like that. But it's great that you keep on trying with new things and you keep on learning with it.
Like it happens because of like-minded people. If you're surrounded with those things, they will force you to do such things.
Definitely. What do you think? Like you said that you wanted to do more coding, be a part of the major FAANG companies, whatever it is right now. But you wanted to be a part of it, and you started competitive coding with that respect. What do you think was the difference? Like what is being taught in the class, and what actually it needs to crack a interview for such companies?
I think most of the time is colleges are not updating their
Curriculum.
syllabus or curriculum. Yeah. So and they aren't focused on tank company that all. They just want to show their result to be 100% placement. And all. So they only aim the student should pass the bare minimum. They're not trying to make them the best student as well. So also like there is some restrictions on them too, right? Because they cannot end up teaching something which only the top
one
layer
student
of the
can
student can understand. They have to teach it in such a way that everyone understands.
Yeah.
So at the end, everything you have to do it on your own. So even let's say you are going for masters, you're just going for the degree itself, or you're going for more learning.
Yes.
Because today's generation think that college or school does not teach us anything. We learn it on our own. So why do you need masters for that?
Of course.
You can learn it on your own then. But I think like it teaches the basic things which you can apply to learn more things.
Of course.
Yeah.
What was this your takeaway that from engineering, like learn on your own? Everything needs to be learned on your own.
Like if you want to pass, passing is not difficult at all.
Yeah.
Right? Passing with good marks is difficult. Passing is if you're failing, that's an achievement too. How can you fail when you just have to listen to the lecturer? Whatever they are teaching, that's what you have to write in the exam.
Of course.
So I think what it takes is like you have, like what I think I made a mistake when I was in engineering. Like I have to determine what I want to, like in which field I want to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like becoming jack of everything, master of none does not help at all. because computer science field is too vast.
Too vast.
It's like in every other field,
Of
mechanical,
course.
civil.
Yes.
So you have to be a master of one. Just determine, okay, I want to be a UI developer. I want to be in design. Just focus on that stuff from the very beginning, because passing is not hard at all. You can pass an exam. You can obviously learn everything.
In university pattern, that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Every university has, like, every college will have different teachers. The way of teaching would be different, and the paper setting team would be different. The paper checking team would be way different.
Yeah.
So in autonomous, that's way easier because the person who is teaching in front of you is going to set your paper, is going to check your paper.
Yeah.
So just listen to it. How can you fail in that? But yeah, as you rightly said, that it's not only the question of like learning each and everything.
Yes.
Computer science is a vast field, and with the current new trending things that are happening, like machine learning or artificial intelligence, cyber security, data science, or blockchain, for that one of the Web3, all these things, trending keywords that are happening around, you cannot, I also personally feel, but though I did like something or the other thing in every domain, because I was trying to figure out what will be my forte. Like, how did you decide that? I'm still confused that in computer science engineering, what is that niche that I want to follow, and which will help me like get a suitable job in for next 20-30 years or whatever it is. So I'm still not able to figure that out. How did you figure that out, that this is your niche and you want to pursue that itself?
Yeah, so I think I have to go back again to my 9th standard thing. So like I started developing code from that itself. So it was like, yeah, I need to develop something, and I started even in second year. Like again, I was distracted with those all fields, machine learning, blockchain, and all, and I even started.
It's confusing, and it's tempting to follow each and everything.
Yeah, so I like started. Major thing was like I want to be a developer rather than problem solver.
Yeah,
I want to be a developer, so developing something like so automating something.
Get it.
So it was like I started game development in first year. Then that didn't work out. I started web development, mobile development, and then third year again I want to do competitive coding. I want to like go into FAANG companies.
Yeah.
And then we have some internships, right? We did like an internship together.
Yeah, I know.
So there was again development. So mostly at the end it came to development, and then so I think like I have to stick into this full stack development field itself, because I'm quite familiar with everything and able to solve it and grasp quickly. So I stick to it, and that's it. I'm currently working in that field itself.
Yeah, nice. That's great. But on this notes also, I have a couple of personalized questions for you, because I have been through this journey. We were in the same internship, and I got to know a lot about you. I got to learn a lot of things from you in that internship, in that period of 1 month itself. Before going to that, to be specific, do you consider this entire thing a rat race? And what's your opinion on it? How do you get out of it?
So again, like I think that two terms, rat race and competitiveness, are interchangeably used, right?
Yeah.
I think, let's say a student who goes in KIT college, and a same student in a parallel universe goes into Walchand college.
Yeah.
The Walchand college student will perform better, or let's say he will learn more.
Yeah.
The reason would be the competitiveness in that environment.
Yeah.
So I think it is necessary, and you cannot escape. If you are escaping the rat race, you are just entering into another one.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think you have to take it in a better way. Let's say Jio and Airtel, whatever thing that went through, now we get cheap internet.
Yes.
The reason is because of this competitiveness between those two. So I think you have to search like, I need some competition for myself to perform better. So you have to take it positively rather than trying to escape it. There might be a situation like you feel this place does not belong to me. So I can give an example, right? I was part of Adani for 5 months.
Yeah.
And the thing is that did not suit me well. The corporate environment, no development, just managerial things.
Yeah.
So there was competition there itself for me, but instead of trying to reach the top in Adani, I think like this does not fit. Look, it's at the end, it's my decision, right?
A
I put
personal
myself.
choice, and
Yeah.
what's suitable for you, that's necessary. How was lockdown for you? What did you went
Mhm.
through?
Yeah, I think I can have like two versions of myself. Post COVID, I was a different person, and pre COVID, I was a different person. That's because of the exposure to gaming, first of all,
Yeah.
during COVID period, and second was like no college, learning on your own. So that made me
Yeah.
like explore what's in my interest, what I can do better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started in like even in web development too. I learned like most of my concept for full stack development from in the COVID period itself.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of academics, I don't think our batch has suffered the most. I think
Yes.
those who were at that time like going to learn the core subjects.
Hmm.
Let's say for us it was database, computer algorithm,
Unix, and then
Unix, yeah,
there was CA also,
yeah,
I guess.
algorithms, yeah. So like,
That were the major subjects we got skipped completely.
mm,
Exams also didn't happen, so we didn't study at all.
like half semester did happen right for that, so we were like little lucky, like we even know that those subjects exist. There might be a batch who don't even know that they have learned this subject.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, so I think yeah, that even there were some relationship crisis at that time too, so it was better to have an break at that time. So I think COVID break for me, it was like a vardhan rather than
A
curse.
blessing,
Like,
a
yeah,
blessing, a complete blessing.
Yep.
Yeah. So gaming is one, like it was a kind of thing for me also in 11, 12 standard, like a getaway. Like, I used to study like hell. I was in Pace Academy, and I had a group of friends who used to go to cafes, net cafes, and play CS:GO for like hours and hours. But I was the one like, no, I don't want to do that much. I knew that in my head. I used to go play 1 hour on weekends or so, 1 hour a day maximum. And sometimes I got caught up with 3, 4 hours. But yeah, I restricted myself as early as possible, and I didn't get into gaming. But for you, why did this you got into gaming? Was it like you mentioned just right now, because of your relationship status, or uh, what affected you mentally when you got into the whole thing of it?
Yeah, so yeah, again, like you said, get away from some stressful things.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the main reason itself. And also, we were alone COVID lockdown phase, so it's better to have something rather than sleeping all day. So there was, let's say, like, I think at this age, we tend to have some hormonal and chemical reactions in our body, so we
Of
have
course.
to like follow it. But and those leads to like lots of thinking negativity around it. Even if you get into, let's say, a relationship, you talk, but it ends someday. So obviously you're giving permanent base to some temporary feeling which you have due to some chemical reactions. So it's
Nicely defined.
Yeah, so it's if you give, like, if you're not aware like what I'm doing, it's like voluntarily or something, just because I'm happy doing it, I'm just doing it. So that does not lead to a good ending, I think.
Of course.
So that's what happened to me too. And um yeah, I mean, it just ended drastically. So I wasn't sure what to do.
Was there a suffering period for you?
Not really. I mean, I was always an optimistic person. So let's say, हाँ खत्म हो गया, क्या कर सकते हैं? But again,
You gave your effort.
yeah, like sleepless nights, sometimes thinking continuously,
Yeah.
even unable to stop thinking. So these things happen.
But you
which
learned something from it. And in daily lives, yeah, engineering is something like you said, hormonal changes and all those things, chemical reactions to be termed. But yes, most of the people go through that phase, and you learn a lot of things, definitely. And you learn good things, bad things. You get to know yourself more through it, and you know, once you are past that, you know what your goals are and what you want to do. You are more like straight as an arrow, don't you think? Did you felt that way?
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes there is always confusion between two things. So, but yeah, I always tend to have like making what can say instant decisions. I'm always better at taking those. Sometimes when I'm not able to, I have some friends which really
Yeah.
help me to do so. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
I
Great, great. You got into gaming a
yeah.
lot in COVID period. So,
Mhm.
how did that happen and what was it?
Yeah, so it was because of my group of friends with
Hmm.
whom I used to hang out.
Hmm.
So they were complete gamers. So every time college 5:30 over, let's go home, play till 2 a.m. That's how they were.
Oh.
But at that time I didn't have like a good laptop to game with them.
Hmm.
So, so during COVID I used to like no, I don't have anything to talk. So we used to hang out on Discord.
Yeah.
Used to discuss about games. So that's how I got into gaming too.
Yeah.
I got a good laptop and then I started playing with them.
Hmm.
And yeah, current till today we are still playing game together every night on
What are your
weekends.
top three favorite games?
So I think Counter Strike got me into gaming, so it's all time my favorite game.
Yeah.
And apart from this, currently I'm playing Dota a lot.
Hmm.
And it's really interesting game. Every day you need to learn something new. You get to learn something new. You fail, you get depressed. I want to quit. I want to uninstall. But again, you come back to it.
Gaming
Uh,
teaches you a lot of things.
yeah.
I have experienced that. And maybe very small games like Mini Militia, which we had in 11, 12 standard,
Yes.
or PUBG for that matter,
Yeah.
or CSGO or FIFA. So it also adds the competitive layer to you in general. And yeah, like you said, even if you fail today, even if your base is completely destroyed, you
Yes.
come back the next day, start building it again, and go
Yeah.
for a war.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I want to ask on a like simplest way, how can you explain that how one can have a gaming as a career, or is it suitable to have gaming as a career option? Like I have two perspectives for it. One, a game development.
Okay.
You develop games, right? But it entirely takes a different approach. And one, as a gamer, you have a career.
Yeah.
So I want you to explain about both those things in your way.
Yeah. So I think as compared to sports, I can think like gaming as a sport rather than let's
Yeah,
say
of
yeah.
course.
So chess
Yeah.
and a person playing chess and a person playing Dota game. I think both have to use same amount of you can say
Of
mental
course.
ability to win the game.
Yeah.
If you are comparing gaming with outdoor sports like cricket, football, or tennis, no, that there's no comparison between those like abilities and all. But I think gaming should be considered as a sports rather than just a form of entertainment. And again, the you said two branches, right? As a game developer and a gamer.
Yeah.
Again, in gamer there can be multiple fields like a content creator. Someone who plays
Yes.
game, uploads it on YouTube is like a good career opportunity. Again,
Of
there is a
course,
lot of
of course.
competitions in there.
I know.
And being a professional gamer who plays for a certain organization, right?
Yeah.
And goes and participates in tournaments. So I think like developer is little bit tough and it's clearly in favor of let's say I someone developed PUBG. PUBG was in boom last 2 years. Now
Yes.
it's banned in India and
I
somewhere
know.
else. So what happens to those developers and whoever worked on this, those source code, everything?
Yeah.
So gaming like a game booms sometimes and it gets destroyed. So I think gaming as a developer would be someone who is passionate about it. I want to like be a what can say I want to build my own game engine which would be efficient, everything. So for those that field would be better. Gaming as a I can say content creator and a professional gamer is kind of like little risky because it's like same as sports.
Of
So
course.
you have watched MS the Untold Story. पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब खेलोगे कूदोगे तो बनोगे बेकार. So it's like if you are in sports field there is lot of competition. Even if I want to be a cricketer now, right now in India there are like 1 point so
One
billion
is to 100,000 maybe.
yeah. So in
Probably.
those I have to be in top 11 to play for
Yeah.
India. That's a lot of competition, right? In
Of
other
course.
field, let's say I want to be a software engineer, easy. I can be anywhere. Like yeah. So
For gaming, it's same kind of.
Yeah.
I have also seen these matches, but there are also millions of dollars involved when there are like these tournaments for CSGO. I have heard
Yes.
about or there might be some for Dota, Fortnite, and all those
The
things.
thing is, only the winner gets those things. So again,
Rest are
only
not even
5
famous.
people are
Like
going to get.
you might know very handful amount of people
Yeah.
who are famous in those domains, but rest of them are like just
Yes. So again, there's competition everywhere. So you have to be like passionate about it in order to get into those
Yeah.
fields. So aunties or mummy.
Do you think like yeah, gaming as a career in future would be like cause after this post COVID there's a whole new angle to it. Everyone can have got good access to internet,
Yes.
have learned about streaming a lot,
Yep.
and there are new streamers that have emerged a lot in this
Yes.
last 2 years. So, do you think slowly this trend will continue or will it die in next few years?
No, I don't think it will die, but it might be like not the mainstream one. I think games will keep on changing. The only people who will be able to stay in this field would be content creators who keep on adapting to those changes.
Okay.
Let's say a PUBG player, professional PUBG player, because PUBG is not mainstream game right now.
Yes.
So the professional gamer might not be like that popular in coming days. Right, the mortal who was very popular is not popular, but we can say
Yeah.
Carrie Minati, Tanmay Jain, who
Of
are
course.
like playing varieties of games on their streams. They are actually still popular. They have like 100K viewers every time they live stream. So
I know.
that's it. So mainstream games will change, but the content creator who keeps on adapting will stay.
I want to go back to again trending technologies right now that we have in the market. What do you think about blockchain? Like in the most simplistic way, if you have to, in layman's language, if you have to define blockchain, what would you say?
Okay, so I think, well, first of all, the difference between blockchain and Bitcoin, right? Everyone, when I say blockchain, they might relate it to Bitcoin. So it's like email and web, internet.
Yeah.
So internet, by using internet, email works. So
Yes.
you just have to understand that blockchain is a technology
Behind
and its
Bitcoin.
application
or-
is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, and what exactly is a blockchain? Let's say it's actually a place where you can keep records. Blockchain is nothing but a log of transactions. Transactions can be anything. If you go on shop, we buy something.
Yes.
We give money, we take some goods.
Yes.
So that's a transaction. So anything like the blockchain is going to store this transaction in an authentic way, or I can say such a way that it cannot be forged or changed, right?
Yeah.
So that's why like everything which happens in current world is a transaction. So there is a multiple applications of this blockchain, right? The
Of
major
course.
one we know cryptocurrencies,
Cryptocurrency.
but that's not efficient because, like I said, that's an authentic source of all the transactions, right? It cannot be forged. So there is needs to be like calculating every time, right? You have to see that this is authentic.
Yeah.
So let's say I have a book where I have like person A, person B, he's making some transaction and all those things are stored. Now at the end I want to calculate, like bank what it does, at the end I want to calculate what is the remaining balance of person A.
Yeah.
So you have to go to all the transactions and you have to calculate this. This is his remaining account balance. So that really makes it little inefficient, right? You have to say let's say million of transactions.
Of course.
That's going to take a lot of time. So I think so. This is where like blockchain actually makes it easier with the new application of it. There is an Ethereum version. So what I can say is, let's say a new transaction is going to be added.
Okay.
So there has to be a way, right? This is authentic transaction. Whatever block I'm going to add in my blockchain,
Yeah.
this is authentic one, right? So what I will do, I will have some algorithm to determine this authenticity. So those algorithms are known as consensus algorithm in blockchain. Consensus means coming to a common ground.
Conclusion.
Conclusion, yes. And this is actually determined by majority. So यहाँ पर भी democracy है. So what happens is it will let's say some algorithm will be done and they will say yes, 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 no, no, no. They will put on their votes. Depending on those votes, it will be either added into the blockchain or it will be kept or destroyed. Like this is not authentic. So what happens is in cryptocurrencies mostly this is not efficient. So there is a lot of, let's say, computation intensive or charges to this. So let's say if I want to make a 500 transaction, 500 rupees transaction in form of Bitcoin, So there would be like 1,000 rupees. I have to pay 500 more for the transaction to go through.
Transaction fees
Yeah,
kind of
this
thing.
it's actually known as network fee in
Okay.
blockchain. It wasn't there. Like there was some way to avoid it,
Mhm.
but now like it's compulsory from every country. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's little overhyped in terms of cryptocurrencies. Blockchain has its use in terms of providing authentic documents
Yeah.
or contracts, anything. But in cryptocurrencies, it is still a little bit hyped.
Do you think cryptocurrency would be would be widely accepted for every transactions that we have, and would that be efficient? Any I'm not naming one as a Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other coin, but in general, cryptocurrency would be there. Would there be a version of cryptocurrency which will be like we use UPI right now?
Yeah, so I think that's possible, but again, like it's not regulated properly, right? So where too much illegal activities can come forth. So before making it legal in any country, I think government will make a lot of changes in the way it actually works.
Okay.
So they might have another layer of transaction on top of it, right? Instead of directly going or managed by that network, so let's say Ethereum network, all the transaction, they will have their own network on top of it, or own layer, where they will keep records of all those things to, let's say, so that no illegal transaction occurs. Or so I think that will make, because if you say like already single layer is causing lots of extra fees, adding a top layer more would increase the fees more. So it's not efficient as of now. Obviously there are ways. You have to change the consensus algorithm such a way that the network fee reduces, so that government can add their own layer and work on it.
Yes, of course. What do you like for a layman completely? If I like, there are questions from these when I'm talking with my dad or with my uncles, like what blockchain is. We have understood it on a different level. Not blockchain, cryptocurrency is. We have accepted it widely, but it's them who I see who are not accepting it in a regular way. They are still considering it as a like something that is fraudulent.
Yes.
So they are not able to accept it. So these are the kind of questions they have. Where do I purchase when I want to buy a stock, or let's say when I want to buy gold, which is something physical? I have something physical. For stock, I have a paper note. For gold, I have something, a substance in my hand. But what do I get when I hold one Bitcoin? Or if I want to buy a Bitcoin, whom do I go to? When I want to buy a stock, I go to Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. For gold, I go to a shop and then I buy the products. But for Bitcoin, let's talk about specifically Bitcoin. If I want to buy a Bitcoin, where do I go? And when I hold one Bitcoin, what does it mean?
Like I said, there is a block, and I have to like check it whether it is authentic or fraudulent.
Yeah.
And then I have to add it into the blockchain. So in order to do this, there is a consensus algorithm. Someone has to perform this. So in what happens in Bitcoin, so this is a complex algorithm which our machine solves. So that process is called as mining.
Yeah.
And so while solving that, we like lots of computation power is used. So it's like on one day electricity, if you're vesting, you will get only like micro bitcoins. So that's not efficient for single person. But so you solve this algorithm, you get some payment from this by solving those by like saying this is authentic, and you get some payment for the like
from whom? Yeah.
So this is like decentralized. You have to understand that like no one owns these things. There is an algorithm which is there. Let's say you have to understand torrent for this too. Instead of someone managing it, my machine and your machine is talking with each other, and they are determining, yeah, this is correct. Okay, so let's say there is 100 bitcoins, and out of 100, 51 is owned by a single person, and 49 is like distributed in other people. So what will happen is these machines will talk within itself and determine the new let's say what will happen is like blockchain's copy will be maintained on each machine, and new chain would like new block would be added. So this will determine every 101 of this will determine whether this is correct or
valid
or not. So let's say 51, whoever holds it, he has changed the source code and he says yes, every transaction is valid. So what will happen? Fraudulent will be getting added into these things. So this is how it works. Like it's present on every machine who has mining capacity and have installed whatever source code they have to run it on them. But like it's better for everyone to understand that no one owns it, and at the same time you can buy it because there are, again, people are going to have a stock for them maintained already. They're going to give you some of them by their platform.
There can be two things. Either I can mine Bitcoin,
Yes.
or I can purchase it from someone else
Yes.
for some other kind of barter. Like
Yeah.
I'll give something else for it and he'll give me 1 Bitcoin or whatever the XYZ
Yes.
amount is. So there are two ways right now.
Yeah. And I think it's going to change. Like you have to understand how stock market works, right? Like a company needs some money, so they are going to say, I'm selling my this much stocks, you give me this much money, and you can play in between this, you can buy, sell. And that's how, the same way, this decentralized thing also works. But instead of someone having like I have to give somewhere, right? Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, these are my stocks, go and do trading on it or allow it for trading. Nothing happens. I can have my own, like every machine can have their own, let's say NSE, BSC already in it, and they can participate in those things. So like there's no centralized thing for
no
this.
centralized thing. Why do you think there's so much fluctuation in the prices of these Bitcoins recently?
So like there's a complex way of calculating it. Even let's say dollar and rupees, right? How is this calculated, right? Even in stocks, what happens? Let's say Wipro stock is like 600 rupees now.
Yeah.
There would be like lakhs of stocks are purchased. What will happen is it's going to rise, right? Because
of the demand.
Yeah. So that's how, like, even I'm not aware of the actual process and cryptocurrencies, how does this happen. But again, because of this buy and sell orders, placements and executions, this fluctuation occurs. And as there is no base for this, right? Because in like there initially they put some base for like stock, I'm listing it for something. There was no listing thing for blockchain initially. It says free of cost. Whenever it is put on the network, it is free of cost. Nothing is there. Anyone can go do things. So depending on the supply and demand, these things, it fluctuates.
And depending upon market conditions.
Yeah.
And
again, the Dogecoin was example, right? Because Elon Musk said it's going to rise, everyone started buying it. It rose. Then they were like, okay, I can sell, and it fell down. So it's because of those buy and sell thing, it fluctuates that much.
Okay.
And I think the fluctuation is, you can say, you have some comparison between US dollar and in INR. You can see that fluctuation remains same in cryptocurrencies as well.
Okay. So somewhere down the line, this may be more efficiently handled, and it will be more efficiently led to something which is more stable, which is widely accepted, and but it is more secured. Talking about Adani, you just mentioned you were a part of it right after the college for a brief 4 or 5 months period. What do you think, like the current trending growth of Adani, which is like exponential, and Gautam Adani, it's quite respectful that he has reached second most richest person on the planet, and with all the resources he has, the way he is expanding entirely in ports business and airports and all those things, and in technology for that matter. They are setting up a data center in India, which will be one of the biggest data centers on the world. So what do you think, why didn't you find yourself fit for that company?
I think again my interest was always in development.
Yeah.
And also I have to put like there are like two richest person, Elon Musk and Adani. I think I admire most, like I have more admiration for Adani rather than Elon Musk because I think he has rose from something which we all can relate.
Yeah.
Rather than some and again it was not fit for me because I was more into development thing.
Okay.
Adani, I think they hired us 2 years earlier. I think they were in the phase of becoming some IT hub. Like they are still in the phase. They have not
achieved it.
Yeah, they don't even have, I think, plan for how they are going to proceed for it. Like there has to be some person, right, whom I can look up and I say, I'm going to learn from this. All the development stuff,
Yeah.
all the IT stuff, or CS stuff, which I don't know. There was no one there. And I felt like, if no one is going to teach me, I have to unlearn it on my own. I better go somewhere where I'm forced to do it on regular basis.
Okay.
So then I started learning on my own. I like through LinkedIn, I contacted some startups. I think, okay, like my again was like Akshay Saini, a YouTuber who used to teach JavaScript. He's still teaching. He was in Uber at that time, and like he's called as JavaScript Guru on YouTube if you search it. And so he said you have to work in startup at least once in a life.
Definitely.
So I thought, this is important, and I think this like current I'm in my learning phase. I have to work for startup. So I went into like searching for startup on LinkedIn, applying for them.
Yeah.
And that's how I like again. Adani was not fit for me because I wanted to learn and do only development. So I moved into startup field.
Okay, but this was the thing which got you changed, because when we were doing internship also, I remember that I can recall that you mentioned you wanted to work only for FAANG companies.
Yes.
You had an opinion that time, and I was like, how is this guy going to land up? Because at our college there's not even one of those companies which come for recruitment. How are you going to, and off campus is really tough.
Yes.
And how are you going to land up in one of those Google, or let's say Amazon, or let's say Microsoft, in those companies? But is this what changed your perspective to go from a FAANG company to a startup?
Yeah, I think mostly Adani's environment only. I think the bigger the company, you're not going to learn much. And initial phase, you have to learn. Because I think what used to happen is we used to drink coffee 4 times a day in Adani office, and everyone used to just come on, open MS Teams, get into meets. Okay, done. Okay, done. That's not learning. If you have to just attend meetings, you can sit at home and do this. Why do you want to just spend a lot of money in office, get apartment and all stuff? So I was like, no, this is not going to work for me. And I also appointed the same job of attending meeting, doing this stuff. So this was not like I'm not even developing something. I'm not learning computer science stuff. So
it was a complete disconnect for you.
And again, I also asked some of my friends who were in bigger companies. There was almost same thing, right? They were learning, but at a very slow pace.
Very slow pace.
So I think no, I have to.
When you are a part of a big company, there are like thousands of employees, and even the project might be like hundreds of people. You might be given a crumb of a crumb to task to handle, and that may not lead to a very successful takeaway or learning from those things. So it's always better to learn in and startup, or rather start a startup. Will I ever see Vageshwar Yadav having his own startup?
Well, I am not into computer science startup right now, so it's more like real estate. But I think there will be a day where I would be CEO of some company.
Definitely, I would love to see that. And I want you to like define more how a startup environment is. Right now, you are working for one, and you have been part of for a small time of different organizations who have just started with 10-12 people, or currently the company you are in, it has some 100 to 200 strength. So how does it feel to work in such a company compared to MNC?
So again, MNC has lots of hierarchy. You never get the bigger picture.
Yes.
You just know some
Definitely.
stuff. And so in startup, it's like again the cryptocurrency market. You are happy at some point, like in the start of the day. Again, we need to quit this. We need to quit this. We cannot make it. This product is going to be a disaster.
It's going to be a flop.
Yeah, you have this feeling like every day. Whenever you are working on some project. I think even in case when we are working on a project itself, we start with like, okay, we are going to make it. We have 6 months on a mega project. Again, now you have to work on it. So you have to sit one night, do the work. The startup was similar. I even heard the story of our company. So there were only 8 people when they started, and none of them were like a proper developer. So they got front-end developer, back-end developer. They worked for like a full week to have the prototype ready before the Shark Tank. So they presented in the Shark Tank and stuff.
Oh, this was
like our company Infido was even like, they presented it on the Shark Tank.
Hmm.
And from there they got their major investors and all, so it started growing up. So
Hmm.
yeah, even when the CEO co-founders give speeches on all hands or town hall, whichever they have, um, they always mention these stories to motivate us. And they have always, like, even the CEO said, yeah, I always felt like I will quit this, I will quit it, I will quit it. But they never did, and it's quite successful today.
Great,
Hope it
great,
will be unicorn soon.
great. I would definitely love to have you again on this podcast, and I wanted to ask few more questions on blockchain and cryptocurrency, but due to shortage of time and all the restrictions, I couldn't cover all the questions. And definitely startup, yeah, it's a big topic to talk about. Yeah, but I want to end it on a good note. Like what you have been, the way I have seen you. Um, yeah, as you mentioned, you have been like on the top of the charts in academics, and the way you want to consume knowledge, that any topic that you go into, you learn into depth. How did you acquire this, and what's your daily mantra or motivation that you follow to keep on learning? Because consistency is the key. Yeah.
Yes.
So what I feel about you is you are way more consistent, and you learn that thing to the very root of it. So what do you follow for it?
So I, like, it's quite tough to answer, because it's like just the personality, I think. Because at the end, you just you are what you have consumed from, like, your environment, right?
Upbringing.
Yeah, upbringing, your
Hmm.
friend circle and all things. So if your friend circle are, like, always talking about startup and certain
Yeah.
technologies, you become interested, you go, you search, you do these things. I think I used to be a lot of the, like, active learning new things. I'm
Hmm.
currently just mostly focused on the development. I
Great.
think, yeah, you're what you have consumed from your environment. So I think that's because of my parents, friend circles, and all, that I was able to learn and focus on all this stuff.
Great. All the very best to you. And I definitely one day want to see a company, a startup with Vageshwar Yadav as owner of it. And thank you so much for taking out the time. I definitely want to have you once again on this podcast to discuss more deeply on certain topics.
Yeah.
Till that time, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivam. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you everyone for listening to the entire podcast. Keep on listening to Unboxing Stories.